Alright, this video is going to be a little bit longer than some of my other ones because, as the title says, it's going to be a full tour of my fishing vessel, the Fong Kuo 866, or just FK866 for short. Now, the image you guys are looking at is just to give you a rough layout of what the boat looks like and kind of help identify some areas. So, obviously, at the very front of the boat, you've got the bow. Moving back, you've got the next deck that you see there, which is the Heli deck or the compass deck. Back beyond that is the mid deck. The tower you see in the middle is the copa or the crow's nest. And then beyond that, you've got the lower deck. This is a purse seiner fishing vessel. That's what the name of it is. From tip to tail or bow to stern, whatever you want to call it, it's about 72 meters, which I think is somewhere around 236-ish feet. Gross tonnage, so the whole boat weighs something like 1,100 tons, and then it has 16 fish holds and can hold up to 900 tons before it's considered full. That's pretty much the majority of it there, and from here we'll just go ahead and jump right into the tour. Alright, we are going to start the tour in the room the mechanic and I share, which is on the right side of the boat, or starboard side. It's a pretty good size overall. I've definitely seen some smaller rooms. A bit of a mess right now because we did just get resupplied, but we've got a desk, little cooking station tucked back there, mini fridge, everything you need to live comfortably. I've got the top bunk here, and then at the back of the bunk, I've got a little closet area, so that's where I keep all my clothes, and I've got a space back there for my laptop as well. Now, the mechanic, Dixie, and I, we do share a bathroom. It's just ours. We don't share it with the crew. Pretty standard for a bathroom. We've got our own washing machine in there, and then the bucket that you see on the ground is what we use to flush the toilet. You will notice there is no shower, and that's because the entire bathroom is the shower, so there's drainage on the floor. Coming out of the room, we're going to be coming into the right or starboard side breezeway, so just kind of a hallway on the side of the boat. Off to the left, we've got some steps that go down to the crew quarters. This is kind of, it goes down to the lower deck where the hallway for the crew rooms are, and we're going to come up that way at the end, so we'll be doing a full loop. Here on the right side, we've got a sort of cupboard area, if you will. It's just a bit more storage for the mechanic and I to store food or whatever. We've got some more fridge space on the left side, and then continuing down the breezeway, you're going to see a little boat. It's kind of tucked down on the deck there. And if you remember from one of my blog posts, that is the boat I had to crawl under. Aside from that, you'll notice there's a lot of clothes here, and that's because all the guys kind of hang their laundry up here, they shower up there. It's nice. You wake up in the morning, you come out to a bunch of dudes just swinging dicks and smiling at you. But now we're going to go ahead and head up to the bridge. You're going to see the fish master, whose name is Fong Kuo, hanging out up here. He's sitting up on his perch. I just call him master for the most part. It kind of gives him an ego boost. You know, these guys do have a bit of an ego, so anything you can do to kind of help that along just makes your life a little bit easier. He's got all the screens up here to see birds or weather, radar, whatever it is. And then off to the left where we're heading now, this is going to be down to the saloon area. So we've got a whiteboard that shows how much fish we have on board. The steps to the left go down to that hallway where the crew quarters are. The master, captain, and RO all have rooms back here, and this is where we eat. All pretty standard in terms of the layout. Most purse signers have this similar kind of saloon. Off to the left here, you're going to see sort of a prayer station. I don't know what religion it is, but the Fishmaster does pray regularly, and then every once in a while he'll have me pray or give some kind of offering to the god or gods. Out here we are coming out to the left side or port side breezeway. We've got a microwave, little toaster oven. There's a slight delay there because I am putting my shoes on. We don't wear shoes anywhere inside. Now, every other fishing vessel that I've been on has the pilot and mechanic room on this side of the boat, on this breezeway. For whatever reason, I don't know why mine's on the other side, but I think that's kind of why I have a slightly bigger room than some of the other ones I've seen. So here we are heading up to the Heli deck, also known as the compass deck. And then we're going to be turning to the left here shortly, and that's going to take us up to another wheelhouse. So when the master is dropping the net off the back of the boat, he'll actually be up here, and that way he can look over the back of the boat, see what the net is doing, steer the boat as needed, and then he can also look out over the net and see if there's actually any fish in there. There's Dixie, my mechanic, working on the helicopter. Dixie's a great guy. He's finishing a 2-year stint on this boat, but I think altogether he's been doing this for about 10 years, so he's very knowledgeable. Not a whole lot of English, though, but other than that, great guy. My helicopter is a 1969 MD-500. She started life as a Hughes 369A model, which is the designation for a military OH-6, and then from there was converted to the 500 that she is today. Aside from that, as we walk around the helideck, you're going to notice that it's actually pretty narrow. From one side to the other, it's only about 30 feet wide, so the helicopter sits on it sideways because from tip to tail, the helicopter is about 30 feet long, so there's not a whole lot of wiggle room. Down on the ground, you're going to see some of these round buoys is what they are. They're GPS buoys. We attach them to rafts, so the fish come and circle the rafts, and the buoys let us know where the rafts are so we can come and see if there are actually fish circling them. But coming down from the deck, we're now going to head back down to the mid-deck. So here we are back on the mid-deck. Those steel plates are access holes to get down to the lower deck where the fish holds are. And then all these kind of rice bags are laid out to dry right now. So everything goes in the freezer. So when they come out of the freezer, they put them out in the sun to thaw and to kind of help some of the moisture evaporate. Up here is a hydraulic station where the first officer and captain will operate the net while it's being dropped. And then there's your view of the lower deck that we're going to be walking to a little bit later. So up here on the mid-deck, we keep 2 of our 4 skiffs. These are used for all types of different things, but usually they help hold the net in place to kind of fight the current while it's being dropped. And then we have the Copa. So there is a ladder on the exterior. For some reason on this boat it's all blocked off, so we're going to be going up through this kind of center column area. And now you will notice it's kind of cramped in here. It's a little dark. I'm 6'3". It's pretty difficult for me to squeeze my frame into a lot of places on the boat, so I am hitting my head constantly, which is not a whole lot of fun for me, but I think I'm getting used to it, unfortunately. So I'm not 100% sure. I want to say the Copa sits something like another 50 or 60 feet off the mid-deck. There's 3 levels to it, and each one has 2 binoculars, except for the top level where there's only 1. So there's typically 5 guys up here. They'll come up in 2-hour rotations, and they will look out for fish. While they're up here, they're supposed to stay focused. I am not supposed to come up here. At least the fishmaster doesn't like it when I come and hang out with the crew. He thinks I'm distracting them, and for all intents and purposes, that is exactly what I'm doing. So as we finally get to the lower level of the Copa, you'll see what the view looks like out here. Honestly, generally not a whole lot to look at, just kind of more ocean. A couple of guys up here in the middle of shift change. I'm pretty friendly with the whole crew. Some of them know my name, some of them don't. Those that don't just refer me as pilot, which is fine. It's my title, and it is now my name. But aside from that, instead of watching me kind of clamber all the way back down and cram myself through those different ladders to get back down to the mid-deck, I'm just going to go ahead and cut back to there. Alright, here we are back on the mid-deck, now heading to the lower deck. So down here, what we're looking at now, there's another hydraulic station, and this is kind of a big winch assembly that brings the bottom of the net in. Off to the left where we're going right now is another breezeway. It's a hallway that's used kind of for storage. The guys have hammocks set up here so they can chill when they're not doing anything. The steel plates that you see off on the left side are covers for the fish holds or the freezers, which again we have 16 of. Aside from that, there's 2 of these, so there's 1 on each side of the boat here on the lower deck. Just to keep the video a little bit shorter and stop it from being too repetitive, I'm just going to show you the one on this side, and then we'll head back out to the lower deck area here. Alright, so re-emerging back on the lower deck, we've got another skiff right in front of us, and then in a second here, if you can see the corner of it already, is this kind of metal ring. That's the scoop that we use to get the fish out of the larger net once it's actually brought in close to the boat. And then on the back of the boat, this is what the net looks like when it's folded up. So in total, it's 2 miles long, and it stays open on the side until the boat comes around full circle, and then it's also open on the bottom until the chains that I'm walking on right now are actually cinched up. So when we drop the net, this skiff, or the tug, actually slides off the back of the main vessel and holds the net in place until the large main vessel comes back around and completes the circle. From here, we're going to head back across the lower deck into the hallway where the crew quarters are. This boat can hold a maximum of 40 people, and right now there's 36 on board, including myself and the mechanic. Most of the guys here are from the Philippines, although we've got a couple of Cambodians, a couple of Vietnamese, and just a handful of guys from Taiwan as well. The kitchen is also down on this level, so here's the kitchen area, here's the cook. He cooks 2 square meals for us, so we get to lunch and dinner. Honestly, probably the busiest guy on the boat because he's got to cook for so many people, but he's pretty damn good at his job. A couple of freezers over here to the left, and on the right, you're going to see right here where the crew eats their meals. Although, honestly, if it's a nice night, they'll actually eat out on the lower deck. That way they can get a little bit rowdier, and they can chain smoke cigarettes as much as they like. And now we're going to be heading down into the engine room. So the engine room is actually split up on 2 different levels, and it houses 3 different engines. The main engine is the number 2 engine, and puts out 3,000 horsepower, with the other 2 putting out 900 horsepower each. Right now we are walking towards the front of the boat, so down here in the engine room towards the front of it, there's going to be a little bit more storage where the engineers, there's a team of 5, have parts and supplies, whatever they need basically to fix something that's broken, because these engines are run constantly. They're literally never turned off. The boat burns an average of about $25,000 worth of diesel fuel every single day. Now we're just going to come out of the supply room, and we're going to start heading towards the back of the engine room. So at the very back of the engine room where we're heading now is actually another hallway that leads towards the back of the boat. Keep in mind, again, at this point we're below the lower deck. So the hallway we're going to be heading is actually where fish are sorted once they're dropped through, which you'll see here in a second. So here's the hallway that I was talking about that leads down to the back. These bags are bags of salt. So before the fish are dropped into the freezers and sorted, they're put into a salt brine solution that kills them. And then from there, they're run into the different fish holes that you can see here. Alright, and from here we're just going to head down and take a quick look at the second level of the engine room. As you can tell, it is extremely noisy down here, and then because you have the exhaust pipes running up from 3 different engines, it also gets unbelievably hot. Back here through this hallway is going to be all the hydraulics that run the main part of the work deck, and if you actually go through that, it'll take you right down to the back of the boat. Alright, and this is going to sum up our quick walk around of the engine room. From here I'm actually going to go ahead and cut forward, so we're going back to that hallway where the crew quarters were. So here we are coming out of the engine room back into that hallway, so we're back at that lower deck level. Again, doors on the left and right are going to be the crew rooms. They typically are 2 or 4 to a room, depending on their status level. These stairs off to the right side here go back up to the saloon area. Got a good shot of the captain's crotch as he's coming down the steps. And then off to the right here are going to be the crew bathrooms. This is what those look like. Not super glamorous. I won't go into detail about how those work. Got some more bathing rooms back here, so again, the crew can come out here and they use these buckets of fresh water to shower, and then this door will take us to the bow. So everything we see up here in the bow is used for 2 things. 1, it operates the anchor, and 2, it also works some of the lines that they use to hold the boat in place while they have the net in the water. But we'll go ahead and go all the way up to the bow just so you guys can see what it looks like out here. Absolutely beautiful day to be doing this on. It's very rare that we see days like this. There's the helicopter, and that's the bridge from the front of the boat. And now we're just going to head back down. So if we head back through this doorway, it's going to lead us to the steps that are just adjacent to the room that the mechanic and I share. And that will complete the tour. I want to thank you guys for sticking through it. I know it was a long one. Please be sure to like and subscribe these videos and stay tuned for more. Thanks again.